First, this get hit while I was parked. Then this happened. And then this happened. And all this, it almost damaged the whole car. This side came along pretty well. The horizontal support inside the door got broken, so I had to JB weld it. The JB weld did the job. The door outline had to be remolded because the inside door was pushed in the wheel well. It was significant enough that I had to hammer and dolly it. This door took days and days to straighten the lines. It is better to nip it in the bud even before you bondo. Put some hammer work, it pays off. This side was even more trouble. I relied on this and this and some of this. Some of the spots are from a stud welder, studs were, and some is where I did some heat shrinking with the stud welder and quenched it. That stopped the oil canning caused from the hammer and dolly work. One millimeter further pushed in and the window wouldn't work. It didn't until I bent the pillar back out. Got extremely lucky. For your information, that's a new mirror. Totally smashed the original one. Luckily the door doesn't drip. That was a worry of mine. A new fender cost $450. I looked in the salvage yards. During the process, I seriously didn't think I'd pull it off. Remember, this took me all summer. I pounded it out with a hammer and dolly, then screwed back on the car, took a look at my progress, took it off, banged on it some more, lots more. Used some JB Weld to fix a rip in the middle along the seam in the wheel well. I had to redo the tear on the fender at least 5 times. On a scale from 1 to 10, this was a 10 in difficulty. This kind of things make it hard. Added more JB Weld to the rip of the metal. Constant bending took its toll. After a few attempts, it held. See the tear in the flange? Another line hammered from scratch. More JB Weld on tear in flange. I put back on a car to check the progress. The fender took 3 weeks of painstaking attention to correct. It split again. I JB'd it again. It did finally hold in the end. Little stuff like rounding a lip takes time and patience. See the tiny pin hammer work? Attention to details. Tears. The fender is halfway there. Replace a quarter panel would cost you 3,000. You can do it yourself for 100. You can see how the wreck affected the door also. Anything with gaps is a challenge to Bondo. Solder holes from the stud welder. What was pushed in is now pushed out, worse than before. At least you can put Bondo in a dent. Hammer dolly work. It's an art. This area took a long time to get the line crisp. Preceding images show some of the steps, but many aren't because of the upload limitations. This image is a good example of what it looks like when the line isn't placed in the Bondo work. You have to build up to the crispness. This is right before I put in the tape line and made the crisp line. Although you should go for an ultra-modern, no-gap look, I was not willing to step out of the box on my first auto body repair. I spent time taping in the gaps. In this photo you can start to see how the fender and door are going to line up. Rim has 1 inch of Bondo over it so that I had enough to mold to match the other side. I used a contour tool to get the exact line. See how I shaped that 1 inch of Bondo into a nice line? I did these lines with tape. I used the contour tool to make sure the shape matched the other side. It was more work than I ever imagined. Proudly displaying my work next to this pony. I gave it 3 coats of high build primer. This is first coat. Second coat of primer, lots of block sanding. This is what your car looks like after a summer of hard work and 3 coats of primer. I debated on taking it to professional to have the final coat, but my wallet didn't agree, so I bought a can of 2K cart paint. White is the easiest. First coat of 2K. Don't be lazy, block sand after every coat. It makes a difference, and here I'm going for a second coat of 2K. I just did the final coat. Doesn't look like a roller and foam brush, does it? Came out almost streak free. I did wet sand a few spots. Learn from my mistake and fully tape the lights. 2K paint is not easy to clean off. It took a long time. Close up of how nice it turned out. Looks like a gun did it, but I promise it was a foam roller and foam brush. I primed the chrome around the windows and rubber door bumpers, then sprayed it with flat black trim paint. You have to prime it or it won't stick. I painted the surf wreck just like the trim, except no need to prime, just flat black will do. Small attention to detail, some special hubcap paint, same color they were minus the scratches, really gave them new life. Thanks for watching.